everyone, and welcome back to the Tea with Crema. My name is Kris. I'll be one of your hosts today, and I'm joined by my best friend, Emma.
Good morning.
Today's episode is talking about a fun challenge that we'll be trying in the coming months. And by we, I mean Emma. And by trying, I mean absolutely crushing. So we'll be talking about trying out the Soft 75. Some of you might have heard of it before, but if you're like me, you're like, what is that? And are you going to enjoy it? So we're going to learn a little bit about what is the Soft 75 and why is Emma even doing this challenge. But before we begin, Emma, what tea did you bring today?
Today's actually the first time I'm bringing a non-tea. Just kidding. It's not the first time. It's probably the 10th time. I'm bringing a non-tea. So it's another ketone brand, similar to the one that I drank last episode. But this one's actually called Salty Lychee or Salty Lychee if you're from Hawaii. And it's really yummy. It's actually for dehydration. So a lot of people will drink it because it has extra electrolytes in it. And one of the interesting things is that if you drink it and it tastes sweet, that means that you are not dehydrated. But if you drink it and it tastes salty, that means you're like super dehydrated. So right now it's kind of in the between. So I know that I'm on the cusp right now of dehydration. I've had it before and it's tasted like pure salt. And I've had it before and it tastes like pure lychee. So
that's crazy. Can you get that in the States? I want to try it.
I'm sure you can. Actually, I don't know. I've never actually seen this one in the States. I only ever saw this when I moved here. And it's only ever in stores or in the convenience stores in the summer. So, because that's when people are getting more
super seasonal, and potentially very regional.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's okay. Put it on Instagram. I'll try to find it. Maybe someone knows where it's at. But that sounds like fun.
Maybe
a drink that changes taste based on how you're doing in life. How fun!
And that's why I was like, there's no way. Like that's definitely psychological. Because someone had told me that, and I was like, nah, I don't believe it. And then one day I drank it, and I was like, why is it so salty? And I was like, oh God.
Could you imagine like it was one that changes based on your mood? Like a mood
definitely,
ring, but
right?
a mood drink. Technically, moods are also, they have chemical components in your brain and all that stuff. But it would be really funny if like, oh, you're angry and you drink it, it tastes spicy.
And you're trying to convince everyone else that you're not angry and they gave it to you and you're like, why is it so spicy?
Because you didn't know. How funny.
Because you gotta calm down.
Oh, that would be really funny. I would enjoy that drink. Someone should invent it. Not me. I'm just not even going to try.
What are you drinking today? Sorry. I forgot that's my lead in. I was like, are you going to tell us what you're drinking or no? My bad. What are you drinking today, Kris?
Today, I have a Catch Your Z's herbal tea from HEB. And it's a chamomile spearmint lemongrass based tea. And it's just consistent, reliable, easy. Nothing too fancy. I just really enjoy it. It's been really helping me get back into the sleep schedules for work because in the summers, my sleep schedule is wild and makes zero sense for anyone ever. So I have to get back into it for work. And I don't really believe in like soft resets. And so, some people do those weird like countdowns to work and they slowly start setting alarms and all that stuff. And I'm just like, nah, hard reset it. I went to sleep like 1 or 2 o'clock the night before I had to go to work and was just like, that first day is going to be rough, but we have to
reset it.
If we don't reset it this way, I won't reset.
Cold turkey.
That's me. So that's how I approach things. So the tea helps me go to sleep a little bit when I'm not super, super tired. So it's one of my favorites. Good, reliable. Today, we're talking again about that Soft 75. So first things first, Emma, what is it? I don't know. You've like talked about it before, but then like, I'm not going to like put you out there and be like, but you didn't do it. But like,
I haven't done it. You're right.
You didn't do it. So then I never got to figure out what you were supposed to be doing. So like,
what was the intention and
what is it? Like, what's a Soft 75 or 75 soft challenge?
So I'm actually going to talk about this was actually inspired by the 75 hard challenge. And the 75 hard challenge essentially is a mindset shift. And I think that's what they like to call it. It's not a diet. They just like to call it like you're changing your mentality, you're changing your like mindset around discipline and things like that. So at the end of it, you're supposed to like be like really disciplined and you're supposed to have like a better outlook on life and all these different things that this man, I'm not sure. Oh, I actually do know which man created it. But anyway, so the hard 75, what it comprises of is it's 2 45-minute workouts per day. One workout has to be outside of those two. You also have to follow a diet. There's no like strict diet plan that you need to follow. It's just saying that you do need to follow a diet. So if you choose to follow paleo, you follow paleo, follow Whole30, whatever. But you're not allowed to drink alcohol, and all of your meals have to be within your diet. So you like a lot of times they say that you can't go out to eat either. So like no restaurants or whatever. You also have to take progress pics along the way. They suggest on day 1, day 37, and day 75, but a lot of people kind of take it every single day just to kind of see. You also have to drink 1 gallon of water a day and then read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. And it has to be nonfiction and it cannot be an audiobook. So there's that. And I looked at that and just realized that it just might not be as realistic for me to have some kind of way to do 90 minutes of a workout any given day just because of my schedule and how I was working. Now that we're moving, I potentially might do it, but I just wanted to try to soft launch it because I need to have a win before I could have a loss. For the 75 hard, it claims to improve your confidence, self-esteem, perseverance, self-worth, self-belief, fortitude, and grittiness. And at the end, you'll have read 750 pages. So that's kind of where at least 750 pages, right? Because you're reading 10 pages a day. So this was created by Andy Frisella, who's a podcaster and a CEO of the supplement company First Form. And it was created in 2019. So I've seen it all over TikTok, and I've seen a lot of people who begin it on Instagram. And I love to watch, what they're doing every day, because a lot of people will document it to keep them accountable. So I think that's really interesting. But yeah, so I decided that was going to be too hard. Maybe I don't need to be that disciplined. Maybe I do. We'll see. So the soft 75 challenge took inspiration from the hard 75, but made it more realistic. I think that's the best way to put it. Not that the hard 75 is not realistic, but made it more attainable, I think. So a lot of people that I've seen who do the soft 75 end up trying to do the hard 75 when they're done. So the soft 75 essentially is 1 45-minute workout per day, and you have 1 day of active recovery each week. So even though you're working out for 7 days a week, one of those days has to be a day that you're still moving, but you're not essentially doing a HIIT workout, or you're not running or something like that. You have to drink 1 gallon of water per day. So that's still the same between the two. Read 10 pages of a book, but it can be any book for the soft 75. And then in terms of diet, the one thing that changes is that you eat a healthy, balanced diet, and you only drink socially. So, which I'm not much of a drinker anyway. So I was like, that's not very difficult for me to give up. The alcohol part was not going to be difficult for me to give up. So yeah, that's the two differences between the two, or that's the main differences between the two, is that it's 1 less workout and it's 10 pages of any book, and then you're allowed to drink on the soft 75.
Interesting. I have thoughts, but we'll get to those later. Why are you doing this?
I decided to do it because I wanted to incorporate exercise back into my life again. I moved to Japan 2 years ago now, and I don't have any type of workout regimen. And I was really disciplined when I was doing CrossFit, disciplined in the way that I was working out every day, not disciplined in my diet, for sure. I think I definitely had some mishaps in terms of what I was eating. And so I just felt like this was a way to make me be more intentional about the way that I was approaching working out and eating well. So I think that's the reason why I wanted to start it. I also thought that it would be a good way to just kind of kickstart the new year. It's a, new year. We're moving closer to school, which means I think I'll have a lot more time to put towards working out. I'll have enough time to work on what are we eating. Isaac has, been trying really hard to make sure that we're cooking healthy. So yeah, that's why I decided to do it. And also, I think most of the things I'm already doing, I already read 10 pages a day. And then also with my water intake, I think I'm taking in at least 1 gallon a day, but this will be just actually making sure that I am taking in at least 1 gallon of water a day.
Okay, so I know we have different mentalities on it, but I really think that you should just do the hard 75.
Is this gonna be the episode that just turns into this episode now, everyone, is called pre-75 soft. Is this gonna be pre-75 hard?
Okay, but hear me out though.
Okay, let's hear it.
Something that I took away from the purposes of the hard 75 essentially sounds like a refinement of willpower, I think was the biggest thing that I really took away from it.
Yes.
And speaking only as your best friend with your best intentions in mind, I think that is definitely something that even just listening to you now, like low-key talk yourself out of it, of why you're doing the soft 75 as opposed to the hard 75. But then I'm just listening to considering when you were here and you were doing CrossFit, that was at least an hour a day. And that was partially sometimes outdoors. So you're really only adding 30 minutes to that grand thing that you were already doing and just really being intentional that 45 of those could be outdoors. And I think some of it is kind of embedded in what you're doing already when you're doing your hiking and you're exploring. And so, because I do think that what constitutes exercise can truly be flexible. And I also know that we've talked about working on mobility and flexibility. So that could certainly be one of your 45 things. And then the other one would be a movement, a getting out, a run, even a walk, because I know the soft 75 talked about an active recovery day, but I do also know that, like, generally speaking, your body does need recovery in between workouts. So I don't know. Is the hard 75 just 75 straight days of 90-minute workouts?
I think, like what you were saying, that it's open to interpretation, right? So that 45-minute workout that's outside, it could be a walk. Like it could be, or, like a brisk
actual walk for 75 minutes though.
45 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, that.
I think it's up to you to choose, like, okay, are you choosing this day as your active recovery? So this is like a walk and a yoga, or like a run and I think that, like, I know, like, I'm listening to myself. It was funny because as I was explaining it, I was like, I feel like I could actually really do this. Like, I feel like I could potentially do it. And then I just like kept talking about it. And I was like, no, but I'm going to do a 75 soft instead. I don't know. I think it's just, so one of the big reasons too is, or one of the reasons why this is for willpower, essentially, is because both challenges, whichever one you choose to do, if you do the hard 75 or the soft 75, if you miss a day, you have to start from day one again. And so a lot of those videos are like so interesting to me because people will make it to like day 69, day 70, and then fall off and they have to start again from day one. And so that's really interesting to me too, because I was like, oh, that's like, it really is like a willpower thing, right? Like I would feel like for myself, like at that point, like I'm like, okay, I'm at day 70, like there's 5 days left. Like, why am I not finishing it? But I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. So the one thing that I really do like is that it's a 10-page of a nonfiction book, which I don't typically read. So I think that would be really interesting. And, that was one of my goals this year, was to read 5 like professional development books, which I think could definitely lend itself to being these 5 nonfiction books, or these 10 pages of a nonfiction book. So yeah, now that we're talking about it, do I do it, guys? Do I challenge myself and do a 75 hard?
I just see no real reason as to why you shouldn't. Especially because, like you said, you're already moving closer to the school, so that frees up some of your time. You have Isaac there to support and potentially participate as well. So I'm not hearing a reason to not do it.
Yeah.
Which I think it really lends to like the final question of just like, we know generally like why, but ultimately at the end, what are you hoping to feel at the end of 75 days after, whether it be soft, whether it be hard, whichever challenge you choose, what's the intention behind it?
I think it's definitely, I can sense that I have loss of energy. Like, I just don't have any energy at the end of the day. And I know it's directly tied to my like diet, and it's directly tied to like my lack of working out. Like, when I would work out, I would feel so much better at the end of the day. Like, I would be tired because I worked out, right? It wasn't tired because I'm just like not being healthy. And so I think that's at the end of the day. I also think it's like a really good test in willpower, which I always find really interesting. And maybe this would be definitely a way for me to become more disciplined as well, because I would have to be very intentional, right? Like, I would have to leave work at a certain time so I could get that 45-minute workout or that 90-minute workout in. I would have to leave, be starting to meal prep and be more intentional with like the way that we buy groceries and things like that, because we would have whichever diet that I choose to do, which I still haven't, I'm not fully sold on yet which diet I would like to follow.
Do you work too early to do a morning workout?
No, and that's the thing too. So like when I lived where I currently live right now, it's a 45-minute commute in. and it was too early for me to be able to go out for a run, come back, shower, still get ready to go to work. Whereas I think now it's going to be a little bit easier for me to get out there in the morning and still make it to work on time.
Or that could be your indoor time as well, because that could even be, you could stretch in the morning and do a yoga routine for 45 minutes.
Yeah. I think right now, because of the weather, the morning routine would have to be the early or the outside one.
Because, girl, it's hot.
It's hot. Like, coming back at 4 p.m., it's going to be hot.
I don't know if it's Texas hot, but like...
It's not Texas hot, but it's humid. Yeah, Texas is also humid too, but this is like a whole different set of humidity that I just...
You're probably closer to Houston.
Ah, yes. No. You're exactly right. That's how I would. I've been to Houston twice during the summer, and yes, that is what Japan reminds me of, which is why I think that there's so many Japanese people in Houston. It reminds them of it.
You know, the weather, the climate, it's very similar. So I am going to advocate for hard 75 days, the 2 workouts, because of the fact that there's alignment in your other goals, in that you can use one of them to really work on mobility and being in touch with your body like you've been really aiming to do and really understanding your mobility. And then the other one is that physical outdoors, get out there. And then even on like the Saturdays that you're already doing the hiking, you've already hit the nail on the head. And so I think adding the measurement for your water as opposed to like a rough guesstimate. They have those cute little things on Amazon that are the gallon every day. I've seen them, people carry them. They look goofy, but like if they work, they work.
If they get the job done, yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, again, reading, I don't anticipate being an issue for you. And so I just really think it's all in your mind. And I don't hear any like actual barriers to accomplishing the hard 75.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. So at time of dropping this episode, I will be having done it for 3 days. So stay tuned. Look on our Instagram. I will be keeping track over there because we're about to get this work done. And if you'd like to join me, please join me. Send me your progress pics. I love to see it.
You just have to find a complementary diet.
That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out is like, I feel like diets or, lifestyle changes are a lot easier in the US because ingredients are like overwhelmingly available all times of the year. Japan, I feel like I could maybe do a whole 30.
But I also think you might be getting lost in the sauce of diet. And I don't know if hard 75 means you have to follow a formal nutrition. Well, no, because it's any nutrition plan designed for your goals, 0 alcohol, no cheat meals. So I really think you can design a plan that is responsive to where you are, still cut out the alcohol. And I think it truly might mean no eating out for 75 days. But the way you've been talking about inflation, that might need to just not be a thing anyway.
That just might just need to be stopping anyway. No, what I think actually what I would do, which one of our friends has done the 75, she was documenting it on her personal Instagram, and hers was just 100 grams of protein a day, which when a lot of people look at their protein intake, it's pretty jarring how much protein they're not eating. So I might actually follow something that's more similar to that, in terms of like looking at the protein I'm getting, because then that's what people say helps with like body composition when people are that's what they're focusing on now.
Understanding your macronutrients is an important part of any part of the core of any diet, is really understanding like why you're eating what you're eating. You could limit sodium, you could limit sugar, you could focus on protein, you could focus on fresh foods. So there's definitely ways outside of just like, I'm going to be keto or paleo or Whole30 that still fit your lifestyle in Japan.
Yeah, which I think that would be more attainable as well, because I also eat school lunch every day, which I just do that out of convenience. It's a lot easier for me to get down there. They give you all of the different, they give you a salad, there's a fruit, there's a vegetable, like it's already kind of laid out for you in terms of like your nutrition, like you're hitting all of the goals. It's very different from the US. So I was like, I kind of want to keep that, but how can I keep that if I'm deciding to go paleo? But I think again, it's just like making whatever diet I choose or whatever lifestyle change I choose, making it work for me, because I also want it to last longer than just the 75 hard, right? Like I don't want to just like do the 75 hard and then yeah, now I can eat wherever I want. Now I can drink all the things and whoa.
So I think that's the wild part of like super restrictive diets, because then it's just like, and then I've done it for my 75 days, and then you like wild out at the end. My favorite things are the things that you come to really enjoy, and then it becomes your new lifestyle.
Yes.
So that would be, I think you can do hard 75, honestly. The hardest part is the 2 workouts, but
I think it's really not that bad. Like, it's a 90-minute workout, which, like, when we used to do CrossFit, most times we would be there for 90 minutes because the beginning part and the ending part.
And when we were doing the yoga, that was certainly a part of it.
Yeah. So I think it's doable.
Things you should really, it's all willpower. So honestly,
this episode summary was, can I read to you what our episode summary was before? It says, Emma is starting the 75 soft challenge in the new school year. Listen to why she's choosing to do this challenge for the year. Now it's going to be,
Emma thought she was.
Emma thought she was going to do the 75 soft. Listen to this episode to hear Kris convince her to do the hard 75.
That's me.
Anyway, I'm hoping that Isaac will join me, and that's that on that. So listen in November to see how I did. I hope I did okay. Let's take bets right now of how much I'm going to complain throughout this entire thing. Probably 10 times a day. So I hope you're ready for that, Christopher, because then when you're like, why are you complaining so much? I'm going to say, you forced me to do this. Just kidding. That's definitely against the discipline thing. It'll go from 10 complaints a day to 1 complaint a day.
Yeah, I think you'll just get used to it and it'll be fine. That'll be your new lifestyle. No worries. Not stressed at all. We will be following up, but honestly, again, because if you mess up, you start over. So we're not going to change the due date episode. So that episode's going to stay the same. And it will honestly just be did you make it or not? That's
literally going to be the episode, guys. The shortest episode you've ever listened to. T-check, did she make it or not? Rapid fire question.
That'll be it. So just be on the lookout. Again, try it if you're into it. That sounds lovely and wonderful. I definitely encourage you to do it, and we'll be here for that encouragement, because obviously I'm really good at encouraging people to do stuff.
You'd be a really good cult leader.
I'm down. If anyone wants to start a cult with me, I'm down. So we're ready. Okay. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add about the Hard 75 challenge that you'll be starting very soon?
Let's do it. I'm ready. She ready.
Perfect. Well, in that case, it is now time for our
rapid fire question. So my question today, and I'm going to have to add some stipulations because I feel like everyone already knows the question or already knows the answer. What is something, I'm going to say, what is a meal? Like, give me like the exact meal, like the appetizer, the meal, the dessert of something that you could eat for a week straight that's not French fries. I had to add that in after our last conversation because I was like, he's going to say French fries and that's not
is this a meal. For like all dinners, all lunches? Like, what's the stipulations?
Like, that's, yeah. So if this is the thing that you're choosing to eat, you're eating it for every single meal.
Ew, including breakfast?
No. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. So this is like, I'm choosing, I want to eat this lunch every single day for a week straight.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like you already do lunch, so it's dinner.
Mostly because, like, breakfast is just its own, like, you can eat the same lunch and dinner every day, but, like, breakfast has its own set of foods. I'm just saying, like...
Then maybe I should challenge you.
Because if I wanted to truly commit, I mean, none of this is challenging. Honestly, I'm a meal repeater. So I am not stressed by this question at all. There are a lot of things that I could eat for days at a time. It's probably not good for your, cholesterol, but like an omelet.
Oh.
Because I can eat eggs
every day,
all day. Like if I didn't have to worry about like whatever the effects of eating eggs for 3 meals, 5 days straight would be, then like it would definitely be an omelet.
I'm honestly the same way. When I find a meal that I like, I will cook it on Monday and eat it literally throughout the week. So I don't know why I did this question. I feel like it's not it's not good for us. Yeah, we are unbothered by it. I've literally eaten the same breakfast every day for literally months on end.
And will, because
it's good. It is what it is. Okay, yeah, that was like not a good question. That's why I always go first, people. Now you see. So yeah, mine would probably be either like pasta, like I love this chicken pesto pasta that we make, and it has Like, we always change up whatever vegetables go in it, but it's mostly just like mushroom, baby tomatoes, and we'll choose some kind of greens like broccoli or spinach or whatever's available during the season. So that's kind of what we do. And yeah, I could eat that for a week straight. Like, Isaac's always like, what do you want to eat today? And I'm like, it sounds like a pasta day to me. And he's like, again? And I'm like, and?
Put it back in the microwave, okay?
Yeah. So that's me. Okay, what's your question today?
My question is, if you were paid $1 million to listen to a song for 24 hours straight, what would that song be?
Oh, man. Do you have your song ready already?
I don't know about 24 hours. That's a lot of time.
That's what I'm like thinking is like 24 hours is a long time.
However, younger me definitely listened to songs like an embarrassingly...
Like would repeat. Like would do like the one with the arrow and it's like the one.
Would put the iPod on repeat and would just listen to the same song.
Yeah, and I would pretend like I was in a music video every
It's really
time.
Bad. It's really bad. I did that to the song Judas by Lady Gaga when I was in high school. I think the most embarrassing one was, I don't know if you know the theme song to the third Fast and the Furious movie.
I wonder if you know that one.
Yes.
How we play in Tokyo. Okay. Really fun fact. And I guess not fun fact. It is kind of a fun fact. So one of the dads at my school was in Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. He had like a very small role. That is a fun fact.
He was there.
He was in it.
But I feel like if it was like a longer song, so probably closer to like one of the 4-minute songs. 3 minutes is like too fast. Like
That's a lot. Can you imagine? That's 480 times.
It's too many times. So like I think a 4 to 5 minute song, something a little bit longer, would probably work for me in terms of a song that I could listen to all day. I don't know if I have like a specific song, because there's certain artists that I don't know if I could listen to all day, but I really think like Megan Thee Stallion I could listen to all day. Bad Bunny I could probably listen to all day and like have that song completely memorized, ready to go for you on, my imaginary karaoke times.
Ready.
And so be ready.
He's
for
ready.
you. So it would probably be one of those two people right now.
I think mine, I actually have this one song that I was like listening to on repeat. I don't know why. It was just like so catchy. It's called Lightning by Mortimer. Mm-hmm. And so either that one or there was this one very specific her song that I really loved, and I love her. So I mean, that's just like slow down. I could probably listen to that one all day.
It'd be like that. Sometimes you just find that song.
Yeah, so either of those songs, which sound very similar to each other, but also like, yeah.
I mean, if that's your vibe, that's your vibe.
That's my vibe. It's very like chill. It's very like relaxing, because I don't know if I could listen to something like, I love Meg Thee Stallion, but Meg Thee Stallion to me is a very much so like hype. So I don't know if I could be hype for 24 hours. I feel like I would have a heart attack.
I would be the best. My best self.
I was like, that's you though. Like, I feel like I could definitely see you doing that for 24 hours. Actually, I could see you doing it for 72 hours, honestly.
I'm just saying, hype, ready to go. So that could work for me. I know what works.
For $1 million at the end of the million, at the end of 24 hours.
And then give me the $3 million. Okay.
There you go. Every single.
Throw an extra $1 on top because of the fact that I took the extra challenge. I'm just saying, I'll walk away with all the money. Try me.
All the millions.
Just put the song on repeat. Easy. But in any case, where can people find the podcast?
You can find our podcast on Instagram and Facebook at The Tea with Crema. If you'd like to buy us a cup of tea, you can also Venmo us at The Tea with Crema. You can stream our show on any of your favorite streaming websites. We hope to see you next time. Bye!